Schefter at ESPN says there's 275,000 people.
Well, that was some party in downtown Detroit. 775,000 people shattering the NFL draft attendance record.
This is the future. Evolution. This is the future. Evolution.
All right, hey, good evening. Sorry about the late entry here tonight, but man, putting that wheel together is difficult. Hope you guys can all hear me, see me, and everything. Just let me know in the chat. Make sure our volume is good. Hopefully, it's not too loud. Just let me double check a couple of things here. Trying to use the streaming service tonight, and of course, every time I do, things change. All right, looks like we're okay. So tonight, it's Thursday night, off the cuff, and we are going to be doing the Earl Hodwalker raffle giveaway. For those of you that participated and purchased raffle tickets on the Buy Me a Coffee program, I have loaded the wheel up. We are going to be doing 3 spins tonight. We brought in over $300, right around $329-ish in raffle tickets. So that's 3 helmets. Like I said, I was going to give away a mini helmet for every $100 that you guys brought in, and we made a donation over to Earl Hodwalker's GoFundMe, and once Buy Me a Coffee transfers the rest of the money, he'll get another donation. So I asked him to make sure that he left it open so it could receive another donation. So great job to everybody that participated in that last week. I can't thank you enough. I know that it means a lot to Earl and his family, so I'm sure that they appreciate it. We blew out the goal. So we beat the goal. He only wanted $1,600 to help with his future cremation, and we did better than that. And there's still more coming. So congratulations to everybody that helped. It's a tough cause. We had quite the week last week with everything going on, but we managed to help him, and that's all that matters. And that's what we want to be able to do here with this platform, is talk Detroit Lions and help out our fellow humans, because that's what life used to be about. Used to be. Let's get back to it, right? So welcome everybody into the chat tonight. Let's see, who do we have here? We got Tracy, of course, always kicks it off for us. And Mike P, J-Rod, Eric's in the house, Shadow Viper 619. And we got Rick, Detroit Grit, Brent DeWitt. Man, say that 3 times fast. Tony Vlip in the house. So we've got some people in. I don't have my viewer count up. I don't even know how many people are in. Let me see if I can change that. There we go. Where can I put it? Let's park it somewhere. We'll put it right there for now. All right. So Jared Goff, Mr. Clutch. So I got to be honest, I didn't prepare a whole lot for tonight. I think we had a pretty good show this morning. And for those of you that were not in this morning's show, I'll recap a little bit. We'll talk about the defensive line just a little bit. But there was an article that came out earlier today. I think it was Jeremy Reisman. Yeah, it looks like it's Pride of Detroit here. Talking about, oh, get this. This is funny. So you guys know how on my YouTube I do Lions news or Detroit Lions news to kind of start the YouTube, right? For the title. And apparently Pride of Detroit is now following suit. So they have now put Lions news in front of their articles. Look, I guess people like to copy. I mean, I did the top 11 this last offseason. Nothing against Jeremy. I did top 11 last fall, and then they started doing top 11. No one's ever done top 11. It's always top 10. It's been that way for decades. So, like I said, every time I do something now, I'm going to one-up it. So I'll do top 13 or top 15. I'll do something just totally, weird because nobody else does it, and we'll see who follows. It's kind of funny. Obviously, Jeremy's been in media a hell of a lot longer than I have. But anyway, I find it funny. I catch these things from time to time. So if you get, you know what, I'm gonna post the link here. I'm gonna put it in the chat. It's crazy. What's 5 billion? What did I miss? What's 5 billion? Oh yeah, so that's another topic tonight. NFL. So I didn't put it on the roster, but NFL got fined $4 billion in the class action lawsuit. $4 billion plus like another $950 million for commercial. So yeah, right around $5 billion bucks. Now, last week I was talking about it could be, up to 21 billion because with these type of lawsuits, they triple the damages. So I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if the judge limited, what it was going to be, but the NFL has already said that they plan to appeal this lawsuit and to fight back. That obviously the decision was made against them that they violated their antitrust laws and took advantage of customers and commercial purchasers of that package, the Sunday ticket. I've never had to pay for the Sunday ticket. Many moons ago when I had satellite TV and Sunday ticket kind of first came about, I think it was like included in some packages early on. But we don't have satellite out here. We just don't. So I've never purchased it. Thankfully, I don't think I need to, but I've always purchased the NFL plan. It's like, $80 a year to be able to get some access to the all 22 film. So who else we got in here? We got the old Mize Dead. I don't know if I said that right. We got the Tree Climber. We got some new names in here tonight. I think we're doing our job, people. I think we're helping the stream get out there and the content get out there. We got new people joining the stream. So welcome into tonight's show. Appreciate you guys. We got a few new names. And of course, if I miss a few, then I don't mean it by purpose. So maybe Jeremy put this together for me. I don't know, knowing that I've been highlighting a lot of his articles lately. He does a good job. But Lions news, metric shows Jared Goff was nearly the most clutch quarterback in 2023. So let's get through this article, and then we'll do our first spin. We'll see if I can bring that wheel in. I should be able to. I haven't done it yet, but we'll figure it out. Just bear with me. All right, so while the national narrative on Jared Goff remains relatively mixed, so I'm going to stop there. That's the national narrative. Relatively mixed. I think the local narrative is not mixed at all. I think we know what we have. But everybody else, they're not convinced. Jared Goff is going to win a Super Bowl, and you're still going to have people saying, well, if he didn't have Amon-Ra St. Brown and Frank Ragnow and Penei Sewell and Taylor Decker and blah, 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 he just wouldn't have been able to do it. I'm getting sick of that argument. I really am. So I want you to go look at every Super Bowl winner and tell me how they could have won that Super Bowl without their best offensive lineman, their best wide receiver, or their best running back, or best defensive lineman. It's just not going to happen. So I'm sick of people making up those types of excuses just because it's the Detroit Lions. We're finally turning the tide, and people just want to somehow pull us back down into SOL land. So the Detroit Lions, we're moving on here. The Detroit Lions have never wavered in their faith of the franchise quarterback, which is true. Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell have always said he is not a bridge quarterback. We believe in this guy. Whether it's been general manager Brad Holmes insisting Goff was never what I just said, apparently he wrote. I have not read this yet. Goff, he never considered to be a bridge quarterback, and Coach Dan Campbell telling Goff, you're good enough for Detroit, which happened this past season when Jared Goff, won the first playoff game against the Rams. Or it's the monster 212 contract that Jared Goff signed this offseason. The Lions clearly believe their quarterback will lead them to a championship. And an interesting statistic from Carter Donick seems to back up Detroit's faith in Jared Goff significantly. So Donick created what he calls a clutch score. Is Chef in here? Is Chef in this stream tonight? I don't know if he is or not. Oh, it looks like he is. So here's the thing. PFF is, I don't think Donick is PFF. I'm not real sure. Maybe we'll find out. But PFF has got like these wild stats that they've created that kind of help push narratives. And Chef kind of brought it up like, some of these narratives they push is just, it seems like to F with the Lions. That's what it almost seemed like, right? When you really go through it. But here we go. We got a clutch score. So we got a meaningless. It's meaningless, but we'll see where it goes. While he doesn't reveal the full methodology, well, go figure. Donick claims he collected 22 different quarterback stats for 2 situations. All right. First situation. 3rd and 4th downs in games where the score is within 14 points. And then the second situation, any down in the 4th quarter when the score was within 10 points. When combining all the stats in those situations, Goff came out with the second best clutch score, only behind Cowboys, Dak Prescott. Sorry, I had hair in my throat or something. So let's take a look. I wish I could show this to you guys. Let me try to add it here. Hold on. Let me try to add a window capture in this. At some point, I'm just going to have to get good at using this. So let me see if I could make it happen. Well, look at that. I think I got it up on the screen. Now I just need to dial it in. Maybe. I'll just put it off to the right. It's not going to be perfect tonight, people. I apologize, but these are all the things that I'm working on in the back end to help with this stuff. Because once the season rolls, man, we want to be cooking. We want to get through this stuff. All right, let me transition this. All right, there it is. I don't know if you guys can see that well, but what it's basically going through here is number 1, 3rd, 4th downs within 14 points, and then number 2, any down in the 4th quarter within 10-point games to calculate a relative clutch score of QBs in 2023. So, what just happened? Oh, apparently we just changed to Twitter. Whoops. 1 second. We can see it better. Sorry. 1 sec. There we go. All right, so the first player, Dak Prescott, has a weighted Z-score. A Z-score, okay, of a .8548. Jared Goff, .7003. And then after Jared Goff is C.J. Stroud with a .5905. That's kind of a big gap, don't you think? I mean, you got a 15th, percentage points difference between let's just round it up. 85 to 70, 70 to 59. So you have 15 basis points between Jared Goff and Dak Prescott. And, you have, 11 basis points between him and C.J. Stroud. That's kind of a big gap. I really don't know what this means. I have no clue what this means. But obviously, green is good. Yellow is probably average. Pink is pink is probably not very good. And then you got red, which obviously is terrible. I guess that's how I would call it. So I don't need these clutch scores to know what we have in a quarterback. I'm sorry. I just don't. I don't need this. You can use the eye test enough. when you look at Jared Goff, let me get this off the screen here. When you look at Jared Goff, playing in any game, the guy just wins. He gets guys in position, and he makes the plays. He makes pinpoint accurate throws. A few times he'll have a bad throw or bad game a season. It happens to all quarterbacks, all great quarterbacks. Some of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game have had bad games, bad seasons. It happens. But I think what we've witnessed over the last 3 seasons with Jared Goff is nothing but, a stonk, right? It's just stock is rising every single season. He's getting better every single season. And it's not that he was bad before, but he started off with a really bad roster. And he's kind of held his own, man. And as they continue to build around Jared Goff, what we're witnessing is the players are acclimating to him and his style and what he's able to do. And it's creating that perfect symmetry, for these guys to really have that continuity like we spoke about this morning with Jameson Williams. And that's the next step in the process here is Jamo's got to take flight. He's got to get off the schneid and he's got to get rolling. And I think that he started to at the end of last season. If we had another 4 or 5 games, man, I think that we would have started to see a Jameson Williams that we've been looking for. But the season ended the way that it did. And, and even that extra game there at the end in the Super Bowl, I still don't think that would have been enough for us to see more out of Jameson Williams than we had the rest of the season prior to that. So this goes on to say this, to provide some more direct context to this stat. Consider Goff's rankings in the following stats. 4th quarter passer rating, 102, ranked 6th in the NFL last year. 4th quarter completion percentage, 72.2, ranked 2nd in the NFL last year. 3rd down passer rating, a 99.5, ranked 10th in the NFL last season. And 3rd down touchdowns, 9, ranked tied for 7th in the NFL last season. I don't know how many quarterbacks had 9 touchdowns off of 3rd down. You might have 6 players that are tied for 7th, right? Or 7 players tied for 7th. Who knows? So anyway, it goes on to say that said, Goff is actually particularly poor on 4th downs, going just 11 of 27 for 100 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, and a passer rating of 24.2. Now, that doesn't make any sense to me because we went for it more than 27 times. How many 4th downs did we win? It was more than 50%. And just because he didn't pass the ball every single time, we ran the ball quite a bit too on 4th down. And there was some situations where those 4th downs are terrible. 4th and longs or 4th on the opposite side, of the field. Those aren't easy positions to be in. And yeah, he threw a couple of ducks on a 4th down while he was under pressure. And that's another stat. One of the best to do it last season while under pressure. So this goes on in continuing to say that he ranked 35 out of 39 with at least 5 passing attempts on 4th down. Though it's worth noting Patrick Mahomes was 38th with a 1.7 passer rating on 4th down. So Mahomes is terrible. He was better than Mahomes on 4th down. That's crazy, right? So that being said, converting 4th downs on 11 of 27 passing, 40.7%, is not that far off from the league-wide average conversion rate on 4th downs of 43.1. So, the metric might be bad, but against, the average of the NFL, it's right in line. Overall, Goff continues to prove that statistically he deserves to be in the conversation of top 10 quarterbacks. Cool little nugget of info, according to Jeremy Reisman, coming out of the NBA draft, Lions' 2nd-round pick, Ennis Rakestraw, and Pistons' 1st-round pick, Ron Holland, both came from the same high school. That's interesting. Interesting news, Jeremy. Now change your title. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Look at GQ, man, all dressed up. What did he win? GQ won some, he got inducted into the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame. Congratulations, GQ. That's awesome. All right, so let me get this wheel in here. And I'll catch up with the chat here. Let me see what we got in here. All right, what's the debate tonight? Number 45 and number 47. Dak is trash and he knows it. Tracy. Braylon Dennis says Seahawks have a rookie head coach. We cannot lose to them. Yeah, I think that this is the season that we don't lose to the Seahawks. They've had our number for years, and I think it's about time that we turn that tide for good. No more 12th man coming into Detroit and winning ball games. Rick says that seems more like stretching for imaginary statistics for the sake of conversation, in his opinion. Yeah, there's a lot of statistics that are just kind of made up. It seems like as we continue to evolve with the sport of football, everyone's trying to put their mark on it. Everyone's trying to put their fingerprint on it, right? And trying to develop their own system. I mean, I'm guilty as charged. I started building a metrics database of how to analyze combine athletes and the college athletes that are coming into the NFL. How do I analyze them based on very specific metrics and data and analytics and size and strength and all of that stuff, all KPIs, all their key performance indicators. How do we evaluate them a little bit deeper, utilizing a lot of the stats that are already out there? When I meet someone that can actually do a lot of good coding and transferring of information automatically from other websites, it'll take off. It'll really take off. I just got to find someone that knows how to do that stuff and get the website going. But pulling all of that information and compiling what's in my head onto a piece of paper is pretty tough. But so I'm guilty as charged. I'm trying to do my own thing too. And maybe, 3-5 years down the line, it turns into something that the NFL wants. I don't know. Then again, maybe not. Maybe I just have a hobby with it. Check my Twitter DMs right now, Will, says Braylon. What did I do? I suck on Twitter. I'm terrible with Twitter. All right, Braylon, let me check it. See, the reason why is my other Twitter, for some reason, is always the... It's always the one that is loaded up, and it's not the one that I try to use. Yeah, we were just talking about this a little bit ago. So Braylon Dennis had sent me the information on the NFL. So let's read a few things here. So the NFL lawsuit. Here's the NFL statement. We are disappointed with the jury's verdict today in the NFL Sunday Ticket class action lawsuit. We will certainly contest this decision as we believe that the class action claims in this case are baseless and without merit. We thank the jury for their time. And then it cut off. The federal judge in California found the NFL liable and ordered it to pay $4 billion in residential class action damages and $96 million in commercial class damages in the Sunday Ticket case. You know what that amounts to? It probably amounts to you getting about $5 in the mail. So all of this wasted time, right, and energy and taxpayer dollars and millions and millions of dollars being spent on attorneys by the NFL, and you're going to get $5 in the mail. That's what you're going to get. So it's pointless. All this stuff is pointless. You know what I think they should do is they should say, well, whatever you spent on Sunday Ticket, we should refund you. This money shouldn't go anywhere else but to the consumer, and they should refund you for an entire season. I think that's what they should do. Then it makes sense. Yeah, all these class action lawsuits, man. I don't care what the number is. It could be $100 billion, and you're going to get $5 in the mail. What else we got going in here? Yeah, we don't talk politics in here, J-Rod. We don't do that. We won't do that. I try to run as far away from it as possible because what's going on in this country is, I mean, even your own family hates each other, because of everything that's gone on. So we try to stay as far away from it as possible, especially when we're talking Lions. All right, let me try to get this wheel in here. Let's get our first spin done. You guys are waiting long enough. And I might just have to do a screen capture because for whatever reason it's not noticing the URL. Let's try that display capture. And there we go. Okay. I think I'm figuring this stuff out little by little. You know, I thought I was too old for this stuff, but I'm figuring it out. Getting old sucks. All right, 1 second. Okay. All right. Can you guys still hear me behind this screen? You should be able to. Yeah. See, Shadow Viper, man, it's crazy. I mean, it's all right, J-Rod. You're all good, man. You're all good. Can you guys still hear me though? Just want to make sure you can hear me when we do the spin here. All right, good. So here's how this works. There was 20 purchases, which amounted to the $300+ that was purchased on Buy Me a Coffee. So all of those names have been entered. Now it says 18 entries, and that's because some people bought twice. So their dollars were merged. Does that make sense? The difference in, you know, the pie here, the breakup, is how much entries they purchased. If you bought $30 worth, you got 10 entries. If you bought, one person bought $50, I rounded up to the nearest $3. So that's how it works. That's why it's all the different colors, and you've got all the names in there. Eric does qualify for this one because this is something that is not related really to the channel. This is for charity and a foundation. So Eric does qualify for this one. So let's give it our first spin. So if you guys donated to Earl Hodwalker's GoFundMe through Buy Me a Coffee on my page, then you are in this drawing, and we are going to spin it to win it 3 times tonight, and it's going to be 3 mini helmets that we're going to be handing out with this program. So here we go. First winner, Lady Clem whatever. Sorry, don't know how to pronounce the rest of that. I didn't see a name with this. I think that it was a YouTube handle. So let me write this one down. If you're in tonight, please send me an email. Otherwise, I'm going to do my best to try to reach you, try to find you, and get you your helmet. We'll just need an address, but you can only win once, so now the pie gets smaller. More opportunity. There's some big names in here. Let's do one more. Second helmet for Earl Hodwalker's GoFundMe Foundation charity event that we did. And it is Jaster. Man, Jaster, you seem to clean up, dude. Jaster's always winning stuff. All right, we'll save the other one for a little bit later. All right, and we're back. Let's take a look at the rest of the Lions news and notes that's going on around the league here. Amon-Ra St. Brown. So according to A to Z Sports, Amon-Ra St. Brown had the best response to Ja'Marr Chase making a fan take off his Lions jersey for a picture. Now, I just caught this today. I think this came out yesterday or something, but on Tuesday, a video of Cincinnati Bengals receiver Ja'Marr Chase telling a Detroit Lions fan to take off his Amon-Ra St. Brown jersey before taking a picture with Chase at a card show in Ohio. It might have been the saltiest behavior we've ever heard of or seen from a receiver, according to, who is this? Mike Payton. The moment wound up getting talked about on SportsCenter late in the night, and the fan who took the picture with Chase got a kick out of being seen on ESPN and asked Amon-Ra St. Brown to back him up. Turns out the Sun God will be doing that and more. And looks like this Lions fan is going to get a lot more than just an appearance on ESPN. He's probably going to get his jersey signed as well. What a week for this guy, apparently. Not real sure what Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to do other than sending this fan another jersey. And I guess he left a message for Chase. According to this, it says, I think this could be Instagram. It just says it's on the way. Then the kid's name, next time, stand on business. So he's sending him an all white signed. And it says next time, stand on business on the jersey. So shout out to Amon-Ra St. Brown, man. Way to step up for this kid. That's awesome. And Ja'Marr Chase, I mean, hey, haters gonna hate, I guess. I mean, Amon-Ra's doing Amon-Ra things. If you don't like him, beat him. That's all I can say. If you don't like what he beat him, try to beat him. What else do we have going on in here? Let's see. So Sports Illustrated was talking about the new defensive schemes that the Lions are potentially going to be running. And last season, we kind of had an issue, right? The Detroit Lions backfield seemed to overcompensate quite a bit. And they were in a zone coverage more often than not. And when they were in man, they got beat up bad. But this year, what this writer Vito Churko is talking about is that the Lions are going to be playing man coverage, and it's going to help prevent some overcompensation by the rest of the defense. So having these new revamped cornerbacks and rookie cornerbacks on this team, and by the Detroit Lions heavily investing into the DB room, Brad, and also Brad Holmes added a pair of corners, to the secondary early. This is what this article is saying. Early off in the offseason, Brad Holmes added a pair of veteran corners to the secondary. First, he traded for Tampa Bay Buccaneers defensive back Carlton Davis, and then inked former Las Vegas Raiders cornerback Amik Robertson in a free agency deal. What this guy's trying to point out here is he's saying this, that Holmes made a serious effort to upgrade the team's pass defense, and a competent a component of defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn's unit that struggled mightily a season ago. In fact, Detroit allowed the 6th most passing yards and passing touchdowns in the league in 2023. As a result, the aforementioned acquisitions, the Lions should be equipped with a vastly improved group of cornerbacks this upcoming season, and these corners, such as Davis and Arnold, should be more than able to handle themselves in man coverage situations, easing things up for the rest of the Detroit Lions defense. Kelvin Shepard had this to say: "It can do wonders." Lions linebackers coach Kelvin Shepard said of Detroit's corners being able to play in man. He goes on to say this: "We've added DJ Reader. We've added Marcus Davenport. These guys are high-end players in the NFL who've proven it already. So it's not skepticism. You're not looking over your shoulder. Not saying that's what's happened, but it is what it is. Guys trying to overcompensate for what they thought were places they needed to help instead of doing their job. That bit a bunch of people in the butts last year." Didn't we just talk about this morning a little bit when we were talking about the new defensive schemes and how the defensive line is rated as the top 4 defensive line right now, and having these new well-established corners and rookie corners is really going to change how the defense is able to work. And the matter of fact, the last couple of weeks, I've been speaking to how you're probably going to see linebackers having more of an opportunity to rush the quarterback, like Jack Campbell. The fact that DJ Reader is going to be able to open up holes and doesn't necessarily need to get after the quarterback will give players like Jack Campbell an opportunity. But the bigger thing that we should pull away from this is the exact thing that happened in 2021, started to fade away a little bit in 2022 in the second half of the season or so. In last season, I don't think we noticed it a ton, but it was still there, where like Alex Anzalone was the perfect example. He finally let his hair down and started to play about halfway through 2022. And that's because he felt a little bit more comfortable with the guys around him, and the guys that, you know, were young, started to understand the schemes a little bit better. That is the same thing that is going to happen, but in a different manner now, where you're going to have competent cornerbacks behind these guys, where they don't have to say, okay, you know, I can't overcommit because I'm worried about, you know, Jerry Jacobs back there, or I'm worried about Cam Sutton back there, and I've got to stay, you know, a little bit over on this side of the hash. I can't wander too far because I got to be able to back them up. That's not going to happen anymore. I guarantee you, Calvin Shepard and Aaron Glenn and the rest of these guys are telling these players, look, you need to go into, you know, your zone and stay there. Don't worry about the outside noise. Don't worry about what's going on around you. Don't worry about the guys behind you. Play in front. Just attack everything that's in front of you and play the way you know how to play. If that truly happens this year, the way that I'm expecting it to happen because of the new corners, sky's the limit for this defense. I like what he said about DJ Reader and Marcus Davenport, how, you know, he's calling them high-end players that have proven it in the NFL. Yeah, they've been banged up. Yep, they've missed some games, and they've had some durability issues because of injury. But when they're on the field and they're actually playing, they've played at a high level. And they've done some pretty good things in this league, especially DJ Reader. Marcus Davenport kind of had like 1.5 really good seasons. And now he's going to be able to cultivate what he used to be able to do now that he has all of these pieces around him that'll allow him to play to his potential as long as he stays healthy. So I guess at the end of the day, what I'm saying, you know, with this article and what it's trying to say, the Lions playing in a man coverage will open up more opportunity to where you don't have to overcommit to one side or the other. You don't have to overcommit to this corner because it's a weak link. You can now have Terry and Arnold and you know, Carlton both man on man, which frees up your safeties to do, you know, other things. It frees up the linebackers in the middle zones and in the flats. It definitely will free up the edge rushers to be able to go and play, you know, much faster and attack the quarterback. We won't have to blitz all the time. That's the nice thing about this is you think that the answer to getting sacks is blitzing. That's a common misconception in you know, in the NFL. You don't need to blitz to get sacks. You need to win your one-on-ones to get sacks. So blitzing more is not the answer. We blitzed a lot last year because we didn't have the answer. We didn't have the guys behind us that allowed us to beat our one-on-ones and, you know, the cornerback staying sticky long enough to allow Aiden that extra, you know, half a second to get to the quarterback or whoever was on the right side, Kaminsky or Pascal or whomever, you know, to do their work to get to the quarterback. So that's going to change this year. And I'm a big believer in that I believe that the man coverage is going to really open up some people's eyes this season. If we're playing, you know, the way that we should be playing. So Zachary Gardner says it will not happen this year and distractions should be at a minimum without Sutton, CJ Gardner-Johnson, and maybe Mosley that is hurt. Chip Bradshaw says big guys will open lanes in the middle, quarterback express route. Exactly, my man. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about with the opportunity with DJ Reader. I mean, come on. You got 2 top 10 defensive tackles next to each other and in a top 5, statistically top 5 defensive end in Aiden, you know, pass rusher in Aiden Hutchinson. He just needed that extra quarter second. That's all he needed. And now he just needs to learn to stay home a little bit more and protect his zone. But I think Aiden's going to have a crazy year. And even if he doesn't with sacks, he can do it in other ways. Getting stops, right? Shutting his side down and forcing everything to Davenport. That's why I said I think Davenport's going to have a pretty darn good year, because I think a lot's going to go to his side of the field. And that, who's going to want to run towards Aiden, Aleem, and DJ Reader if they're crashing left? They're going to have to go to the other side. So it's going to be fun to watch. Absolutely. J-Rod says, Will, I really like the new look and the intro. Like, share, subscribe. Y'all appreciate it, J-Rod. Appreciate it. We got a lot more coming, man. This is just the tip of the iceberg. It's been a little bit of a whirlwind of challenges to kind of get through it, to get things working, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Bo Booth says, good evening, Rockers. Heavy pressure coming, and when do we blitz? Destruction. Blitzing is, I think it's going to be fun to watch. Like, we're going to know it's probably coming because we probably won't have to do it a whole lot. But the times that we're going to need it, where we're really looking to get a stop, to close out a game, man, we can feel comfortable now selling out, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys up front, knowing that you've got, 4 really solid DBs in the backfield that can hold it down, and a linebacker or 2 that can stick to some tight ends. It's going to be awesome. It really is. Yeah, so Brent, I'm not saying that we're not going to blitz. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we're not going to have to blitz like we did last year. I wholeheartedly believe we're going to see Iffy, Brian Branch, Terrion Arnold, Carlton. We're going to see all of these guys blitzing. I think, like you've heard me say all offseason, it's going to open more opportunity on the back side of the defense. The linebackers, the cornerbacks, the safeties, those guys are going to be able to blitz more often, and be able to be put in more unique schemes, things that we haven't seen before. So if your DBs can hold, not get a penalty hold, but you know what I'm saying. If they can hold it down and you can free up a safety more often and send them, you can nickel blitz all day. It depends on the situation. It depends on what we're going up against or who we're going up against, and schematically who's in the game. If we can free somebody up. I think that Jack Campbell is probably going to have a step up in production, especially in sack production. I think that Marcus Davenport, if he's healthy, I think that he's going to have a pretty darn good year. I think Aiden's going to do baseline Aiden things, at least 9 sacks. I think he's capped at 15. I don't think he's going to have more than that. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing if he has more than that, but I want to see more spread out. Right? Just like Jared Goff feeds the ball all over the field. I want to see more guys getting involved this year because we have a backfield that can actually do its thing. Yeah, I'm definitely not saying we're not going to blitz, but last year, to get to the quarterback, the Lions had to blitz. This year, we're not going to have to blitz to get to the quarterback. We're going to be able to win some one-on-ones, and let me break that down. This is what it looks like to me. You got Aiden on the left, Aleem, left side defensive tackle. You've got DJ Reader, right side defensive tackle. And then let's just say Marcus Davenport's on the other end. You have Jack Campbell in the middle, Anzalone at the Sam or the Will, Barnes at the Sam or the Will, depending on where they end up after training camp. So that's 7, right? Yeah, that's 7. And then you're going to have Terrion on the left, or Carlton on the left, Terrion on the right, or vice versa. Iffy and Kirby. That would be your standard, right? I just don't see how you're going to leave Brian Branch off the field. That's a tough one for me. So that was your standard, kind of your base, 4-3 setup. I think that we're going to be in more of a nickel package more often. And I think it's going to be a hybridized nickel where maybe we only have 2 linebackers on the field, not 3. So kind of shifting to like a 4-2-5, if you will, more often. And if that's the case, well, guess what? You can't not double team Aleem McNeil because last season, almost 50% of his snaps, he was double teamed. You definitely can't not double team DJ Reader. So one of those guys is going to get free. Otherwise, if you're utilizing, 3, if not 4 offensive linemen, your center and your 2 guards at a minimum to take on Reader and McNeil, well, that means that you only have your 2 outside tackles left to take on Marcus Davenport, Aiden Hutchinson, Jack Campbell, Alex Anzalone, Brian Branch, all those guys that'll be up in the box. There's not enough assets. So then you have a running back and you have a tight end. Well, the Lions still have the upper hand. They're still going to have 2 more guys that can be free. There's no way you can defend this team. If they're all healthy and playing well, just look at the stats. Double teams don't lie. Now Aiden's double teams are a little bit different. He's getting a lot more chips. So they're counting them as double teams because of the way that the AI reads it. But when you watch the game tape, Aleem McNeil was double teamed more than Aiden Hutchinson. When Aiden gets free and he gets into the backfield, he's getting chipped. So he's taking on that second block. But usually it's just a chip and release. They're not usually sticking with him. I saw Aiden getting held more than double team last year, and they weren't called at all. If Aiden could take one bit of advice this year, man, quit flailing with the arms. Like, quit trying to draw a penalty. Just fight through it. Just keep fighting. You start throwing your arms up and you start to lose leverage. So don't worry about all the LeBron James stuff. Just keep going. Just keep fighting. That would be the only advice I think I could give Aiden. Too much trying to, I get it. He was getting held a lot and he was trying to get the penalty called and they never called it. So at some point you just got to say, forget it. I'm just going to beat him. Hold me. I'm going to beat you. That's the mentality you got to take into it. And I think that maybe we'll see a change this year. Hopefully. So anyway, I don't know if I broke it down clear enough. I guess what I'm saying is you can't double team too many of our guys because you have nobody left. You have nobody left to protect the quarterback. So at some point, someone's going to be free. And I think that's going to be the biggest problem for opposing offenses this year is you almost have to just pick your poison. You guys remember the Raiders game last year when Max Crosby kept getting free into the backfield, like quickly? And he had that one free hit on, hold on, who was that? He had that one free hit on, was it JMO? It might have been JMO, where they kind of threw that outlet pass and JMO got gobbled up right away. I think it was JMO. I don't think it was Jameer. But Max kept getting to the backfield quickly. And that's because at some point you have to pick your poison. Like, who am I going to take? Bosa, Crosby, or, whoever you're going up against. If they have multiple guys like a Micah Parsons or a Bosa or a Crosby, on the team, you have to take on one. The other one, you just got to scheme against and try to, throw the play going the other way. And that's what the Lions were doing, except for that one play for some reason went right at Max and Max got right in. But Penei Sewell was kind of leaving Crosby and working down the line on a few plays. And that's probably what you're going to see offenses doing against us is they're just going to have to say, all right, Aiden's getting a free run or Davenport's getting a free run. We're going to go the other way. And that's where they're going to have to, scheme up against our guys to try to stop them. And they're not going to be successful. Bobu says they will have to double team both Aleem and Reader. Maybe Chip Hutch, Terrell Williams should school Hutch up to take advantage better this year. I think he will. The one thing I never touched on the other night is when I brought up the question of, did we really need to change out our defensive line coach? Because you look at last season, we had great success, right? We really did. Number 2 against the run, that's phenomenal. I don't think that you can penalize John Scott for the rest of the defensive line maybe not getting home as often as they should have. A lot of pressure, right? But not producing enough sacks. And I think that there was a little bit of a let off. Todd Wash, I don't think that he gets enough credit. And there's definitely been a change. When Todd Wash left, there was a big change with that defensive line. And last year, we kind of saw a little bit of a bounce back. And this year, we should take another step. We really should, especially if Terrell Williams is as good as advertised. I didn't know if, it really made sense to just change it up again or try to add him to the team. Given the success that we had in the run game, I'm hoping that stays the same and that we don't try to sell out in other arenas, in other, schematic situations to try to do things too differently where, the guys are getting too confused. Like it's just too much. It's too complex. Sometimes the best football plan is a very simple football plan. And you just bare bones, vanilla scheme, win your ones, man. That's all you got to do. Win your ones, you win the game. Play very solid, disciplined football, you win the game. And discipline is what it's all about. If these guys play discipline this year, now that we have corners, assuming on paper right now they can cover really well and play man really well, this defensive front is going to eat. And I just don't see where the difference between Terrell Williams and John Scott is really going to make that big difference. But then again, Terrell Williams is that good. So I think that we're going to see a little bit more complex nature to the scheme. Hopefully they'll be able to understand it quickly and adapt to it quickly. And it fits within this man scheme press scheme. It's kind of both that Aaron Glenn loves to run. Very aggressive defense that can get you in trouble. If you're not disciplined, a very aggressive defense can get you in trouble. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes. Training camp's going to be a blast. I'll tell you that. I think that as long as we can see some players on the field this year in training camp, it's going to be a blast. Bo Booth says, I wonder if Caleb Williams will even make it to the Thanksgiving Day game. He may not. He may not. RG3, Shadow Viper says, hey, RG3 had so much talent. Leg was never the same, affected his confidence. I'm not following you on that one, Shadow. Mr. Morel Tarantino says, not the LeBron James. Yeah, we were getting a lot of the LeBron James from Hutch last year, but he was getting held. Rightfully so. He was trying to, make it known that he was getting held, but quite honestly, I feel like the refs knew, and I almost feel like they were concerned for the quarterbacks, because if those offensive linemen didn't hold Hutchinson, oh my goodness. The dude would have had probably 25 sacks last year if he wasn't being held. And if, the Chiefs, they started off the season by cheating and were a full yard back. The tackles were like a full yard back and jumping every play on Aiden's side and then holding, and it wasn't getting called. Matter of fact, I don't think it really got called until like the very end of the game, which is a big no-no. If you're not going to call it during the game, don't call it at the end of the game. Obviously, I think it helped the Lions, but this season, I'm hoping that they fix some of those things. I didn't see any of those, things get brought up or mentioned by some of the owners where, hey, these guys got to line up right. And, we got to pay more attention to offensive linemen jumping. And, it was clear. It was clear as day last year. And in a few games that the Lions, had for opponents, their offensive lines were lined up in a V. Not more of like a W, if you will, but kind of more of like a V where, they were way too far back off the center. Their helmet was not like to the midsection of the center where it needs to be. It was like barely up to the, his rear end. Yeah, RG3 did have a short career. Man, RG3 is so talented, though. From a broadcasting perspective or, media analyst, sports analyst, whatever you want to call it. The dude is top notch. I love listening to RG3 talk about anything football. The dude is a wealth of knowledge. Very, 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 very good at what he does. Flying V like the Mighty Ducks. Oh, man. Let's see here. What else do we have in here? Caleb Williams will bust. Poop his pants his first couple of games. Try to be a runner. Becomes RG3 2.0. I think that's given Caleb too much credit. Like, RG3 was actually pretty good. He just never had a offensive line. And quite honestly, Caleb doesn't have that great of an offensive line. So, yeah, it could be interesting. It could. I appreciated RG3 on the field in the very beginning. But, yeah, if he would have just stood back and would have been a pocket passer more often than not, he would have had a better career. All right, so Detroit News is talking about Brian Branch. Let's get into Brian Branch here for just a minute. Apparently, I got to sign in real quick. Get the news. Come on, sign in. As you can tell, I didn't really do much for tonight. Really just wanted to get the raffles done, so I'm going to do another raffle here in just a minute. Why is it saying that I don't have access? That's not cool. What is going on here? All right, we'll move on. Ranking the quarterbacks that the Lions will face in 2024. This was an article by Jeff Risdon today. And you know what? He didn't put the colon, Lions News colon. So good job, Jeff. Jeff. Good job. All right, so he's talking about the Detroit Lions placed a lot of emphasis on upgrading the pass defense this offseason. Even though the team made it to the NFC Championship game, Aaron Glenn's pass defense had too many exploitable holes to push the Lions to where the team truly desires to be, playing for a Super Bowl title. And those new additions, I'm not going to recap all that. You guys know who we brought in. But the Lions will see a lot of talented quarterbacks. In fact, Detroit will see 6 different quarterbacks who were selected number 1 overall in the NFL draft, including the Bears' rookie Caleb Williams twice. The list also features Matt Stafford and who else? Well, C.J. Stroud. They'll see C.J. Stroud, right? But let's start off with number 14, J.J. McCarthy. Apparently, he's ranked as the 14th best quarterback. Or is this just where he's slotting them as far as just against the Lions? Like, JJ's not even the starter, so I'm not real sure why he's got him listed, but JJ's not the starter, at least right now. Tennessee Titans, Will Levis. You know what? I can't remember if the Titans are... Yeah, the Titans have got to be at home. I think that everybody needs to bring some sort of milk with them. Like some sort of sign, got milk, or I don't know. Like the dude literally runs and is scared of milk. So then number 12, Caleb Williams. Number 11, Anthony Richardson, which, jury's still out on him too. Strong arm, big playability with his legs, but rough season. Too many injuries. Seattle Seahawks, Geno Smith. Yeah, there is no way that Geno Smith is going to do what he did to us last year again this year. I don't think Geno's going to have a very good season this year. The one I think that, out of all of these so far, you got Kyler Murray. I'm not sold on Murray, but I do like the Cardinals. I do believe that the Cardinals they're going to be a very difficult team this year. Seeing Baker Mayfield again this year, look, that's phenomenal. Matter of fact, I don't even understand how it's possible that we saw him twice last year and we get to see him again this year. I didn't look at the schedule deep enough, or, how things kind of line up with, the kind of the transition that happens like every, couple of seasons, how you play teams in the rotation. And then you got Brock Purdy. Then Matthew Stafford at number 6. And then you've got Jacksonville Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence at number 5. Yeah, I would definitely put Matthew Stafford ahead of Trevor Lawrence. Then you got Jordan Love at number 4. Yeah, I would definitely put Jordan Love behind Trevor Lawrence, and probably... No, I take that back. I would put Jordan Love ahead of Trevor Lawrence, but behind Matthew Stafford. And I would definitely put Brock Purdy ahead of Jordan Love. And then you've got Dak Prescott at number 3. I'm not sold on Prescott. CJ Stroud at number 2. I mean, that's giving the kid a lot of credit. He had a heck of a season last year. But I don't know if he's the number 2 overall best quarterback we're going to see. And then number 1, Josh Allen. I think that there's an argument to be made here that Matthew Stafford's going to be probably the first or second best quarterback out of all of these quarterbacks that we're going to see this season. If I were to pick my top 4, top 3, top 5, somewhere in that range, it would probably go something like this: Stafford, Josh Allen, CJ Stroud or Dak Prescott. We'll have them tied for 3rd. And then coming in at number 5, definitely not sold on Love. I would say Brock Purdy. That would be my list. That would be my top 5. Toughest games that we're probably going to face is going to be against those teams. And then I'd probably have Jordan Love right behind there at number 6. That's kind of how I would do it, I think. So, all right, we're going to review one more, and then we're going to do the last raffle spin. Get you guys out of here early tonight, right? Let's see here. What's trending? Make sure I'm not missing something here. We got wheel spins, Jared Goff, Mr. Clutch. We've already talked about that. That's kind of a weak roster tonight. So there was some hay being made about the Lions adding another vet defensive end. I don't know where this came from. I don't see it happening. Maybe when 53-man cuts happen, depending on what the Lions decide to do, and also depending on how healthy we stay throughout camp. I think that's the biggest question that you have every year. How healthy are we going to stay through camp, on the other side, after cuts? If we have some injuries, sure. I could definitely see where the Lions could make a move. Other than that, I don't think that the Lions are really in the hunt right now. And that's really about it, man. It's June. Welcome to June. End of June. Nothing going on. So that means I'm going to have to start doing my own research again, since there's not much happening here. We've highlighted a few articles this week. So let's get into this last raffle for tonight. All right. So our first 2 winners tonight were Jayster and then Lady Clem. So Jayster, if you're in tonight, I already have your information, so I'll email you. But Lady Clem, if you are in tonight, or if you watch this, please email me at info@rockedonpodcastnetwork.com. And I'm going to pop that in the chat here. Okay. And if you guys want topics done, if you want research done on any topics, if there's anything that you have on your mind that you would like to discuss in any of these shows, you can also email me in the the description, the subject, just put mailbag or something. Yeah, just write mailbag. And that way I know it's something that you guys want to discuss, and I'll take all of that information and start to put it in to some shows down the road. So let's get to this last one. This will be the 3rd helmet that's going to go out for the Earl Hodwalker raffle for the GoFundMe from last week. Here we go. I should probably... Yeah, I think it looks fine. It's big enough. You guys can see it. Oh, one of the newbies, Michael Garrity. Michael Garrity is the winner of the 3rd helmet. Let me take a picture of that. Michael has just found us over the last month or so. has been really active on the Facebook page. Appreciate all of your help and support on the Facebook page. And just a reminder, the All Grit Pod at the All Grit Pod, Chef Talks Lions. Visit him there. He's on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays, and then dropping different content every single day throughout the week. And tomorrow morning, we've got Rise and Grind Morning Show. It will start at 8 a.m. tomorrow. We won't be late. We'll just probably be on the other streaming service. And what else? What else is happening this week? I don't think there's really much happening. I won't be back on until next week, Monday night for Off the Cuff, which is what we're watching tonight. Off the Cuff by Rock On Detroit Lions. And tomorrow morning's Rise and Grind Morning Show. So congratulations to all the winners. Michael Garrity, Jaster, and who was the other one? Lady Clem. So I'll be reaching out to all of you guys and the other winner today. So 4 mini helmets going out. $600 worth of mini helmets going out today. Just for liking, subscribing, being part of the channel. The biggest thing is helping the channel grow and pushing the subscribers out. So every 500, we're going to be giving away 1 helmet to somebody. And that'll be triggered at the next mark is 5,500. So appreciate you guys helping with that. Appreciate you guys joining me tonight. And man, let's go get a win for tomorrow morning. Let's see if we can get some good information for tomorrow and have a good show to wrap up the week. Head off into the weekend. One more weekend closer to NFL football, man. Almost. Sundays will be full of football soon. And we'll have some nice cool weather there. And there's nothing better than a grill, cold weather, and football on Sunday. I love it. You guys have a great weekend and a great night. We'll see you in the morning on Rise and Grind Morning Show. I'm sorry. Have a great night. We'll see you in the morning on the Rise and Grind Morning Show. Take care. Bye-bye.
Adam Schefter at ESPN says there's 275,000 people.
Well, that was some party in downtown Detroit. 775,000 people shattering the NFL draft attendance record.
This is the future. Evolution. This is the future.